Good morning. It's 9 a.m. and this is the council meeting for February 4th, 2025 for the town of Rocky Mountain House, and I'll call the meeting to order. First order of business is acknowledgement of Indigenous peoples. The town of Rocky Mountain House wishes to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 6 territory and a traditional meeting ground and home for many Indigenous peoples, including the Blackfoot, Cree, Saulteaux, Stoney, and Métis. Moving on to the adoption of the agenda. Has anyone got anything to change on the agenda? If not, just looking for a motion to accept the agenda as presented. Deputy Mayor Schipholt.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. I also move the agenda as presented.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Any discussion? Call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. No delegations. Moving on to item 5.1, our regular council minutes from January 21st. Has everyone had a chance to read those? And is there any errors or omissions or anything that needs to be amended? If not, just looking for a motion to accept those minutes. Councillor Hutchinson?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Thank you for that motion. Discussion? All those in favor? And that is carried. So moving on to old business, the football loan bylaw. Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, thank you, Acting Mayor. So, Council passed first reading of the loan bylaw to the Football Association. Administration has advertised in accordance to the MGA and received no petition or opposition to the bylaw, to the loan. Since first reading, the Football Association has come back to administration and asked for the loan bylaw to be increased because of interest being charged by a contractor. So that would increase the loan amount by $2,272 approximately. So that's for council's consideration. So if council wished to accommodate the request to cover the loan, the bylaw would need amendment in second reading to do that.
Thank you for that, Mr. Kraus. Questions? I do have a question. So this interest was from December. Would we not see the same thing happening in January?
We received the January interest on Friday, and we updated the RFD to include that.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
it was like 1,800 till the end of December, and then the additional covers January.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions, concerns? Deputy Mayor Schipholt.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. I'm still of the belief that this shouldn't be a loan, that we should just forgive this amount of money. This is a lot of work that we're going through and hoops we're jumping through, and it's an ever-changing amount. I'm still in favor of not having it in a loan form. Having said that, council's wish is to have it in a loan form, and so I would make, I do give it the first motion, if you'd allow me,
Sure.
Acting Mayor, and let it be resolved that council gives second reading to loan bylaw 2014/19.
Okay. Thank you for that motion. Any discussion on that motion? Councillor Hutchinson.
Does that motion need to specify the difference in amounts? Or is that good enough?
So the way the motion stands, council wouldn't be approving the interest, but just the original request.
Okay, let me redo that bylaw then to include that. So let me just reread it then. Let it resolve the council gives second reading to the loan bylaw 2014/19 with the amendment of replacing $23,750 to $26,022 in section 1.1.
Okay. Thank you for that amended motion. Thank you, Councillor Hutchinson. Any discussion on the amended motion? If not, I'll call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. And are we prepared to give third reading? Councillor Hutchinson.
Yep. Be it resolved that council give third reading to loan bylaw 2014/19.
Thank you for that motion. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to item 7.2, the ATCO franchise. Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, thank you, Acting Mayor. So this was previously brought forward to council to renew the ATCO franchise agreement, which the first step is to give first reading to the bylaw and then advertisement and submission to the Utility Commission. Council requested 2 amendments to the agreement when it was brought forward to council last time. One was the term, which has been changed to 10 years versus 20. The second was actually to put into the agreement a specified time for the expansion of the distribution system upon request of the town or developer. ATCO has responded that, unfortunately, in their words, that they cannot amend it, and we have included in the RFD their actual response. So we'll leave that to council to discuss and proceed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kraus. Do we have any discussion on the ATCO franchise agreement? Deputy Mayor Shippold.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. Again, I find it disappointing that they can take whatever amount of time they want to service any new construction going on within our community. That there's no end date or perceived time frames they can have. They've left it wide open for themselves that they're going to do it basically as to when they get around to getting it done. And it's unfortunate, but I guess this is their boilerplate deal that they have with all municipalities, and we're just in the line of the rest, and so it's unfortunate, but unless we want to talk to them, they've offered to come and talk to us, but I don't see that's going to get us anywhere, so.
Thank you for that. Councillor Hutchinson.
I agree, it's unfortunate. I mean, they do say approximately 6 months for the design package to be fully executed for construction activities to commence. And I do remember when they were here presenting last time that they said, you know, as long as, you know, hopefully if people can get ahead of it and before they're even at the point where they need it to start the application process, that sometimes that can shorten the process. So I guess that's all we can kind of hope for.
Thank you for that comment, Councillor. Yeah, I echo the same thing. It's unfortunate that they can't do this in a more expedited manner. Maybe it's something that we can, you know, the Planning and Development Office can maybe mention to people as they come in when they're looking at doing projects, that services are one of the first things you should be inquiring about so that they can get done in a timely manner. Okay, so we have recommended alternative. Councillor Hutchinson.
Thank you. Be it resolved that council give first reading to bylaw 2025/01, ATCO franchise agreement, and instruct administration to advertise the agreement in accordance with the Municipal Government Act.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Do we have any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I will call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. And moving on to item 8.1, the rates and fees, solid waste rates and fees for 2025. I see Ms. Quinlan coming up to the table, and I'll let you present.
Good morning, Council. So we're bringing back the rates and fees bylaw because solid waste wasn't updated when we brought it in December. It's gonna kind of be a two-step process because one, we need to update the solid waste, so I'm just gonna, go to the, so the residential collection, is gonna go down on April 1st from $28.62 to $24, and that's recognizing the EPR grant that we're receiving. There is a correction. We redid the format and inadvertently got a $75 on the wrong line. So the $75 needs to go to $20.80 for right now. And on April 1st, it's, so the access for the Eco Center is gonna go up from $20.80 to $22, both for, sort of multifamily residential as well as for commercial or non-residential. So that's what's in this bylaw. We will be coming back Right now, we're still negotiating with the circular economy to negotiate the rates or grants for the eco center. So this is in place for now. Once we know what the amounts are going to be, then we'll be able to recalculate what, if any changes need to happen for the eco center rates. But we don't know what they are right now, so that's the 2 steps.
Okay.
So we're asking you to amend the bylaw and just include these solid waste rates for April 1st.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Quinlan. Do we have any discussion from council? Seeing no discussion, I know we have some recommended alternatives. Deputy Mayor Sheppel.
I will give it first reading. Let it be resolved, the council give first reading to amending the fees, rates, and charges bylaw 2025/03 as presented.
Thank you for that motion. Do we have any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I will call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. And Councillor Hutchinson.
Thank you. Be it resolved that council give second reading to the amending fees, rates, and charges bylaw 2025/03.
Thank you for that motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, call that to a vote. All those in favor? That is carried. And Deputy Mayor Sheppel.
Thank you. I will do the next motion. Let it be resolved that council give unanimous consent to proceed to third reading for the amending fees, rates, and charges bylaw 2025/03.
Okay. Thank you for that motion. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That is carried. And I will make the final motion that council give third and final reading to amending fees, rates, and charges bylaw 2025/03. Any discussion on that motion? I'll call out to a vote. All those in favor? And that is. Thank you, Ms. Quinlan. Moving on to item 9.1, the EDA conference, April 9th to 11th. Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, thank you, Acting Mayor. So Councillor Ald has expressed interest in attending this conference also, so council would just need a resolution for him to attend.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hutchinson.
Thank you. I'll make that motion that Councillor Ald attend the EDA conference, April 9th to 11th, 2025.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Do we have any more discussion on that motion? Call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to item 9.2, the invitation from the Consul General of Japan. I can speak to that. So there is an invitation for myself to attend a reception on February 21st at the Petroleum Club in Calgary for from the Consul General of Japan for the Emperor of Japan's birthday. So I did get this invitation, but I had to bring it to council before we can say yes that I can attend. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Hutchinson.
Thank you.
Next month.
If staff could clarify, is this a PR event or is this an attendance that whoever attends is getting remunerated for?
Under the policy, it'd be for per diem. PR events are typically within town limits.
Okay. Do we have Councillor Hutchinson?
Okay, for having that clarity, I'd make the motion that the acting mayor attend the event on February 21st, 2025.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Any discussion on that motion? Call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to correspondence for information. We have a few things in correspondence for information. Is there anything that anyone needs to bring out or discuss? Councillor Hutchinson.
See, now it's only 9:15, I might as well speak. So under the Community Events Committee, as I've said previously, we're planning a skating party at the Oval on February 17th from 1 to 3. We'll be having family games, things like family tug-of-war, things like that, hot chocolate, cookies, and we are planning a chili cook-off where families would make their own crock pot full of chili, and then we would have tasting throughout the 3 hours, and then an award of a golden ladle at the end of the event. So hopefully we get some interest in that, as it's always nice to have something, and it looks like the weather's not going to be too terribly cold that day. So, yeah, just wanted to bring that one up.
Okay, thank you for that. Any more discussion on that? If not, just looking for a motion to,
If I
Deputy Mayor
could,
Shipple.
a question about STARS and a letter from them. They're calling it a donation. When they were here, they were looking for funding, and the letter says, "Thanks for your donation to STARS." Is it a donation or is it a funding request? The terminology in the letter, I was a bit confused from STARS.
So in our books, it would be a grant to STARS. It falls under council's supplementary services policy. So it's a grant from the town. They might call it a donation, but it is a grant.
Any more concerns, questions on our correspondence for information? Deputy Mayor Shipple.
I think you also make the motion that we accept the correspondence as information from items 10.1 through to 10.6.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Do we have any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to the action list for February 4th. Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, thank you, Acting Mayor. So going through the open items, so Canada Post, industrial area super boxes, so that letter has been drafted, and MN either has or will be shortly hand delivering to each business in the industrial area. We picked hand delivery versus mailing because the owners of the property may not be the same as the occupant. So that way we cover the businesses that are there and how they're affected. So the ATCO franchise agreement, council did first reading today. Football loan agreement, council gave all final readings to that football loan agreement today. The CAO performance evaluation, I understand council's in progress with that. Police Act amendments in the policing committee, so we received a letter yesterday granting us to have our own policing committee versus participating in a regional one. So that is complete. I think we'll probably just have to get them to review our bylaw and make sure it meets their standards, but originally came from the province, so I don't foresee any issues there. The tax forfeiture property, that is in progress. So I think that is with legal right now to transfer over. So, and that is it.
Thank you, Mr. Kraus. Do we have any questions on the action list? Councillor Hutchinson.
No questions, just that we've received the letter from Canada, or from the town. I have a business in town already, so they have been sent out. So I will make a motion to accept the action list as presented.
Thank you for that motion. Any discussion? Call out to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to administrative inquiries. Does anyone have any administrative inquiries? Seeing none, I will move on to, oops, my apologies, Councillor Hutchinson. Go ahead.
Thank you. So I just want some clarity on potential growth in our town. So are the town utilities capable of growth, for instance, like on the south end by Tim Hortons? Does there have to be any major upgrades or anything like that? Or if the different vacant properties around town wish to develop, do we have to do upgrades to, like the sewer, water, and what's the capacity of our sewage treatment plant and the water treatment plant to service the town? That's a lot in one.
Yeah, that is a lot in one. So are you specifically south or north and south?
Well, no, south was a question that came from a resident.
So in relation to, well, okay, I guess I'll start with the plant. So our new wastewater treatment plant is just being constructed, and it'll have a capacity for the population to reach 9,000 without any further expansion. So it's got a lot of growth built into it. Our water treatment plant right now, I mean, we're sitting probably when it's at its maximum meeting demand, we're probably around 60% of capacity. So we still got quite a bit of capacity in the water treatment plant. In regards to the underground infrastructure, south, water's no issue. Obviously, it's all forced by pumps and so forth. In regards to sanitary, actually moving south is less restrictive in infrastructure than moving north. So going south, we can do gravity feed of our sewer main well into the future annexation area. In fact, even outside of it, to the south, even expanding past the annexation area, there's only one lift station that would be required, and that's at its furthest point south. And that's, like I say, beyond even our annexation area. Moving north is more difficult on the sewer side, because actually I think if we move through the annexation area and JDA, there's probably, I think there's 3 lift stations that are required to service to the north.
So if somebody came in today and decided that they were going to build a strip mall and houses and development to the south, the town is absolutely capable of handling
Our
our system.
infrastructure can handle
Okay.
development all within our town borders, going south without any major infrastructure upgrades.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any more administrative inquiries? Okay, seeing none, move on to notice of motion. Does anyone have any notices of motion? Okay, seeing that, I will take a 5-minute break, and then we will go into closed session. Okay, we are back into live session, and need a motion to go into closed session. Councillor Musker.
I'll make the motion that we go into closed session.
Thank you for that motion. Discussion on that motion? All those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, we're back into live session, and we have a couple of motions coming out of closed session. Councillor Mosker has a first motion.
Yes, thank you, Acting Mayor. I make the motion to accept the feasibility study as information and move it to the next council meeting for further discussion.
Thank you for that motion. Any discussion on that particular motion? Call out to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. And Deputy Mayor Shippold.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. I'll make a second motion after we had our in-camera, and that is that we accept the CAO dialogue as information.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Discussion on that motion? Call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is also carried. And with nothing further on our agenda, I will adjourn the meeting at 10:15.